Welcome, everybody. Welcome to those in the Zoom room. Welcome to you if you're watching the recording. This is Mindful Monday, but you might be watching a different day of the week. As we're recording, it's Monday morning, and you're always welcome to come and join us in the Zoom room. So this morning, we'll have a centering first, then I'll tell you the theme. Otherwise, your thoughts will be distracted into what the theme is. So we'll have a centering first. And with centering, you might have heard me say this before, you can have your eyes open or closed, but I encourage you to have them open so that you can practice centering and use it in everyday life. And we luxuriate and spend time over our centering, especially on a Monday. So we'll use our usual ABC. A is awareness. Notice sounds you can hear in the distance, outside of the room that you're in, and closer by. Notice what you can see. Let your eyes wander. Notice what you can smell, taste. And bring awareness to your body. Perhaps your feet on the ground, your body resting on furniture, clothing against your skin, the temperature of the air against your skin. And then take awareness inwards. How am I today? How am I as a body today? Notice any areas of tension that might be creeping in, or discomfort, or areas of pleasure. And then notice your breath. No need to change it, just being aware of the cycle of the breath. The inhale, slight pause as it turns into the exhale. And that slight gap as it moves around again. A for awareness. B. B is for balance. So have a little rock back and forth. Side to side, up and down. A wiggle and a jiggle. Find that part, that spot where you have the least effort. Your body holding up your body, the earth supporting your body, gravity pulling you down. See if you can bring some balance to the breath. Breathing in and out equally. A for awareness, B for balance, C for core. So we're going to bring some softness through the core, softness without collapse. Inhale and lengthen up through the spine. Exhale and soften through your eyes, your cheeks, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your belly. You can add an audible exhale. So inhale and lengthen. Exhale. A, awareness, B, balance, C, core, second C, connection. Bring to mind a person, a pet, someone that makes you feel warm inside, someone that makes you smile. Could be someone from the past or the present, or have a look on the screen and spot a face maybe smiling back at you. And then notice how you feel. Have a shimmy, have a shake. Let it settle. Okay. Theme today. And I've still been using this book. Although I've noticed not everything, it's about emotions, the Field Guide to Emotions. But not everything is typically what we would think of as an emotion. But I invite you to consider it as an emotion. So I'm going to tell you what the emotion is or what the thing is this week. Go through it, and then we're going to have a check-in. And then we're going to explore it. So the one that jumped out at me, and sometimes I resist the one that jumps out at me. Laziness. Laziness? Yes. Laziness. Coming from... Now, hang on a second. Before I do anything, notice any response that you have had in your body to the word. Or any negative judgment that might have arisen. Or self-judgment. Root, coming from weak, feeble and tired. Oh, and notice how we use those words judgmentally. And yet weakness can be a thing without it having to be a negative thing. It can simply be neutral. Tired can be reality, especially for many of us who have health challenges that are ongoing. So what we think or say, I don't feel like doing much of anything. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's tie that phrase in with some self-compassion. Impact on our openness to others. Neutral. However, I suggest to you that sometimes its impact on our openness to others is not neutral, and we or I might push others away if I feel like not doing much today. Perhaps we might hide away. Perhaps we might hide how we feel. Our reaction or impulse is to do little or nothing. Now, if you have done any sessions with me over the last year or two, or you've been to the Befriending Me program, you will know that we actively encourage each other to take time to do little or nothing. Related emotions, calmness, resignation, boredom and indifference, related but not the same. Its purpose. Rest. Recuperation. And listen to this one. Enjoy doing nothing. And the group of people who've come along to the stuff that we've been doing over the last couple of years, this is what we've been looking for. The enjoyment in doing nothing, knowing that we're needing the rest and recuperation. So when I first read the word laziness this morning, I was like, I can't. Oh no, we can't. Yes, indeed we can. Perhaps we can reframe this. Time orientation is the present. How it may get in the way. I love this. Laziness has long been maligned. It has indeed. It has been as leading to no good. And that's not true. It depends on the context we're using it in. Okay, if you're working in a team and you need everybody to be working equally and everybody is able to work equally, then laziness could be construed as not doing your bit. If resting to recuperate when you have a chronic health challenge and you have pain and fatigue and exhaustion, rest is good and leads to good. Emotions we confuse it with. Contentment, it isn't the same as contentment. The aspect of laziness that we're looking at is resting because we are tired, because we need that recuperation. How it feels or moves us to do as little as possible. It is so hard. It is so hard to do as little as possible, even when we are at our most exhausted. I tend to fight it or resist it or not surrender to it. And perhaps there's something about surrender there, surrendering to the nothingness at times that we need to rest. How our body might feel loose, relaxed. Nothing wrong with that. How our breath might be long, slow, shallow. tendency for the body to move back, down, open. Relaxed jaw, relaxed shoulders. And there's a lovely quote here. Laziness is nothing more than the habit of resting before you get tired. So, oh, nice response in the Zoom room there. My invitation to you is to cultivate some laziness in your life, to embrace this new version of laziness. I'm going to pause the recording, check in with the people in the Zoom room, how they feel in relation to laziness, and then we're going to explore it a little. So I'll just pause the recording. Some lovely reflections in the Zoom room there about the negative connotations of laziness when we really need active rest. And especially anybody who is recovering, stressed, or has that health challenge that has fatigue in it, it's crucial to existence. It's not just a nice added extra. It's part of basic self-care. And yet, however many times we say it to ourselves, it's still a journey, it's still a battle. Now, you might have seen from my ongoing little reels that I keep putting on, that I now have learned to make a reel. You seem to be getting one every couple of days. And I'm promoting, in the Facebook group that is, and on Instagram, I'm promoting Befriending Me because it starts again in September. And in fact, the first section, the first month, is called Rest and Restore. So we're going to just explore it in a second. But my invitation to you is to find your laziness, find your active rest, and do it more. And remembering this Thursday is restorative yoga, so we'll call it lazy this week. We'll call it lazy yoga. Yes, and we'll be good about that. We'll be happy with it. Okay, I'm going to stand up. You can stay seated. You can do whatever you wish. Perhaps lift up your toes, place them down. Sense into your feet, your legs. Maybe take some tiny movements as you do that. Your hips, pelvis, belly, chest, shoulders, arms, hands, neck and head. And take a breath. Arriving in your body. You know, sometimes when we go to yoga classes or when I've led them, we'll start by saying, take a moment to arrive. What do we mean? We're not talking about coming into the building or wherever. It's noticing ourselves as a body. It might take a little bit of a wiggle and a jiggle. Just increasing sensation, any movements. And let's take a breath and take the arms into the air. So inhale, sweeping up the arms as though the breath is moving your arms. Exhale, let them come down. Do that once more. It can be tiny movements if you want. It might be faster or slower than me, and let it come down. Have a wiggle. Okay, we're going to do a version of Breath of Joy. Now, I always say to you a version, because the most common version of Breath of Joy has 3 big inhales to start without the exhale. And many of us in this group struggle with that because it can increase sympathetic nervous system activity and can even trigger anxiety. And this group is particularly prone to that. So we do it slightly differently. We inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, let them down. Inhale, take the arms out. Exhale, bring them back. Up again. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, soften the knees, hinge at the hips, and down. Have a forward fold. Have a little rock. Then lengthen through the spine, keep the knees bent, and rise all the way up and let go. We'll do that once more. And of course, you can do this seated or lying flat, in fact. So Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale out. Exhale back. Inhale up again. Soften the knees, hinge at the hips. Let it go. And it's a nice one to practice, especially with that letting go at the end. And that letting go relates to the laziness and active rest. To come back up, lengthen through the spine, keep the knees bent, rise all the way up if you wish, reach to the ceiling, and then let that go. Now I'm going to lie down, but you can choose to lie down or sit in a chair, and we're going to explore laziness. So if you're lying down, you might choose to come into a supported Shavasana and have a cushion under your knees and a slight cushion under the head, not too high. The reason for the cushion under the knees is it just takes a bit of pressure off the spine. But it doesn't matter what position you're really in, as long as you can sink and soften. Arms might come out to the side, palms up. If you're feeling a bit anxious, you might prefer the palms down. It can have a little shift in how you feel. And then notice how you feel within your body, how you feel as a body. And see if you can let go, soften, and rest just a little more. And we've done this a few times before. I'm going to count to 3, and on the 3, I invite you to be 50% softer. 1, 2, 3. And it always surprises me how I can find 50% extra softness when I get to the 3. Because whatever I'm doing, tension naturally just creeps back in again, rises, without me even knowing about it. Surrendering to rest. Surrendering to laziness. Active laziness, there's a phrase. And notice how that feels. We're going to move to a guided meditation practice. So you have a choice. You can stay exactly as you are. Or if you're lying down, you can come and sit up. I'm going to come back and sit over there. As you know, in meditation, traditionally we sit tall. But I encourage you to find a lazy posture, even more so today. Make sure you're warm enough. If you need to adjust in any way, do. And meditation does not require absolute stillness. If you need to adjust and move, do so. And then resettle. Your eyes might be open, or you might choose to soften the gaze or close the eyes. Whatever feels best for you. And if at any point you do feel anxious, open your eyes if they're closed. Look around the room. Notice things that are familiar to you, or feel your fingertips and your toes. And take awareness back through the body, allowing it to sink and soften, letting go of any tension that might be creeping back in. And an invitation to join me in a visualization, imagining a walk through the countryside. Perhaps you're following a pathway that's familiar to you. well trodden, clear. Sky overhead with a hint of blue, some dotted clouds, sunshine peeping through. Noticing the air being warm, nourishing. Perhaps you can feel some pebbles on the ground as you walk and hear them as they move under your feet, under your shoes. Shrubs and grasses to the side of the footpath. Maybe you see trees in the distance. The sound of wildlife is around you. A bird flying overhead. Maybe a rabbit pausing on the path. Allowing yourself to follow the pathway as it winds and becomes a little less well trodden, leading you across a grassy field and through into a wooded area. It's still clear where you're going, it's safe, but underfoot it might be different. Twigs, leaves, the bounciness of undergrowth. And as you walk, noticing the rest in nature, the trees, soft, gentle, with a slight sway in the air, but restful. Flowers on shrubs, quiet, gentle, restful. Perhaps a bee resting on a flower. Noticing insects. They're not harming you, but you can notice them in the undergrowth, resting. Perhaps a bird has landed, resting. Perhaps a rabbit has stopped running, resting. Following the pathway through the wooded area and coming out the other side into a grassy meadow. Here in the distance you can see cows. Still, resting. Coming across a slight hill, you find a place to settle. Partway up an incline, so you have a view ahead. You can see the sky and the clouds. You can see the wooded area. You can see the meadow. Here is a place to pause and rest. Settling down and staying here for a little while. And in this place, taking awareness back to the body. You might be lying down against the grassy ground and notice the whole of the back, the whole of your back supported by the ground. Take awareness to the head, the back of the head resting on the ground. Noticing, sensing, imagining the skin on your face, the eyes resting. The muscles around the eyes resting. The jaw resting. The tongue resting. The whole of the head resting. Breathing in with expansion and self-love. Breathing out with restful ease. Taking awareness from the head down through the neck and into the shoulders and through the whole of each arm. The shoulders, the tops of the arms, the elbows, the lower arms and the hands. You might make some movements in the arms and even tense the arms and then let the muscles go. Sensing rest spreading through the arms. Breathing in. Sensing expansion and self-love. Breathing out with restful ease. Moving awareness from the arms back up through the shoulders and into the chest. Sensing the back of the chest, the upper spine resting on the ground. And within the chest, the lungs, the heart, opening, closing, expanding and softening. Allowing the lungs and the heart to rest here. Breathing in, finding expansion, self-love. Breathing out with restful ease. Moving your awareness from the chest into the belly, into the whole of the belly and the pelvis. Sensing, imagining the spine at the back of the belly, the lower back, the bones of the pelvis, the muscles across the belly, and the organs within. Perhaps even taking some movements in the muscles of the belly, in the pelvic floor, tightening them, creating tension and then softening, finding active rest. Breathing in with expansion and self-love. Breathing out with restful ease. Moving awareness from the belly and pelvis down into the whole of the legs. Sensing, imagining the hip joints, the upper legs, the knees, the lower legs, the feet and each of the toes. And perhaps taking some movements here, tensing the muscles in the legs and the feet, or tensing the toes and then letting them go again. Surrendering to rest. Breathing in, finding expansion, self-love. breathing out with restful ease. Letting your awareness spread here through the whole body, sensing, imagining the whole body resting. The whole body finding laziness. The whole body finding ease. Perhaps even finding tension in the whole body just a little more for a moment, and then letting that go, surrendering to rest. Breathing in, finding expansion and self-love. Breathing out with restful ease. And allowing your attention to stay here within the whole body, with awareness of yourself as a whole body for the next couple of minutes. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Bring it gently, kindly back to the breath. Breathing in, finding expansion, finding self-love. Breathing out with restful ease. Awareness of the whole body here, resting in this place. Resting on this grassy bank in this meadow. And imagining retracing your steps across the meadow, through the wooded area, leaving the resting cows behind, the resting rabbits, the resting insects, the resting birds. Knowing that this is a place you can come back to in your mind anytime you choose. Back through the wooded area, through the undergrowth, the sponginess under the feet. Back to the pathway, the pebbles, the hedgerow and the grasses. Back under the sky overhead, the blueness and the clouds and the warmth of the sun. Back from where you came. Taking awareness back through the body now, noticing how it feels. Taking movement if you need, perhaps a stretch. Perhaps taking the arms overhead. Or hand to heart and hand to belly, or take a hug. A little bit of self-love, self-kindness, self-compassion. And maybe you'd like to thank yourself for taking the time to have some practice today. But the invitation is to take active rest into your day and the opportunity for laziness, intentional laziness, wherever you can. Slowly, as you're ready, open your eyes if they were closed, and gently coming back to the screen. I'm going to stop the recording so we've got time to talk in the Zoom room. But if you did join us on the recording, thank you for coming along, and we will see you very soon.